This episode is brought to you by the saying, two heads are better than one, and in our case, two e-bikes, folding e-bikes, are definitely better than one. Today we're going to show you a lot of the reasons that we think going two-fold is the way for us to roll in our RV. Hi, I'm Owen of Velotric Lifestyle. I'm glad you're here. Velotric packs in quality components, from the removable battery and folding pedals to reliable disc brakes. You're getting a solid folding e-bike, and fair warning, a mountain of cardboard and foam to recycle. Once we had the bikes fully assembled, it was time to load them into the tubs and see if they'd actually fit in the bed of the truck. It took a bit of trial and error to figure out the best way to pack them in and make the most of the space, but after a few tries, we landed on a setup that seems to really work. Now that they're securely stored in the tubs and in the back of the truck, it's time for the fun part. We'll head over to the Greenway for a test ride. We'll take you with us. So we've ridden a little over 5 miles, and I know what I think, but I want to ask my sweet wife. By the way, this is Lynn, the better part of Velotric Lifestyle. What do you think of them so far?
I think they're great so far. I mean, it took me a few minutes to kind of get used to that small wheel in the front compared to what my old bike is, but so far I think it's been great.
Good. Comfortable?
Very comfortable. I'm sitting up straight, which I'm not humped over at all, which is a lot more comfortable. The seat's actually really comfortable. I hadn't even really thought about the seat. I know. Usually, that's the first thing I change is my seat.
No.
But,
so far it's been okay.
Right, but I haven't ridden that far either, so we'll
and
see.
the few things that are different about this that you're not accustomed to, she has a Townie right now. It doesn't have.
I love it.
It doesn't have a display on it. So now you've got a display to know how fast you're going, how much battery you have left, and all that information. Are you finding that helpful as you're looking down?
Very much helpful. It's good to see how far you've gone. And actually, we didn't read the manual, so we're kind of learning as we go, which I'll be honest with you, it's very easy. And he's already had a Velotric, so he knows all this stuff. But, I mean, it keeps up with your battery heat level and
ambient temperature outside, which is 97 right now.
So, I mean, it's got a lot of great information.
Yeah. So you're liking having that?
I am.
The other difference, you've never had a bike yet that has a true torque sensor, and we do not have it set up in cadence sensor mode. We have it set up in torque sensor, and I'll do a video later to explain the difference. But right now we have it set up in torque mode. Are you noticing that as you apply more strength to the pedal that it's responding like?
Yeah, especially going up those hills. Yeah. I could definitely tell.
So the harder you pedal, the more it helps you pedal up. And we both have it on, it's got 3 different levels of ride. So we both have it on the middle level, which is trail. And then it has 5 different levels in each one of those. So 15 different settings you can choose from.
And then you have a boost and you have an
eco. Yeah. And so, if you're trying to go 50 miles on it, you probably want to put it in eco. If you're trying to catch back up with someone, put it in boost. And one thing I've noticed that I really like, it has a throttle. Has that been different for you too? Yours hasn't had a throttle in the last couple of years.
Right. And I don't really need a throttle. I think you need the throttle more because you have Maggie. You have that
Our
extra
dog.
weight on the back of it. So I used it at first, but I think it takes me a little bit of getting used to because it really, I mean, you put that throttle on and it goes.
It goes.
Yeah,
it goes.
I would rather just paddle and get myself in there. And it does it easily. With the torque mode on one, I was able just to start with no problem at all.
Wow. Yeah, the throttle is extremely responsive, and it's right now it's not set to go 28 miles an hour. We have it topping out at 20 miles an hour, which is level 2, and that's
good for
plenty
us.
fine for us in our age group. And if you're in our age group, that's probably as fast as you want to go. But man, it'll just go. The other difference is hydraulic disc brakes. That's something you haven't had. What do you? It stops on a dime.
It does. I'll
If you
tell you
see a
what.
dime, it stops.
That's something else to get used to.
Yeah.
Is when you slam on those brakes and
Yeah.
you jerk yourself.
Yeah,
So.
we're out filming this, and she'll ride ahead, and I say, "Okay, stop," and she just stops. And if I were not riding in a motorcycle formation, a couple of times I would have hit you because you just like step on the brakes, and man, it just stops. So that's it.
And I'll be honest with you. Normally we don't have the same kind of bike, so I think we had the same rads at one point.
Right.
But having the same bike and being able to ride at the same speed is really a good.
It's really important. It's a good experience, isn't it?
It?
So we'll say, what numbers are you on right now? And when especially if we're going somewhere for miles and miles, we would both just say we're in trail 3.0 and the pedals are on 4.
Right.
And if I set mine just like that, it's easy to stay right beside of her. It just works out to be flawless. I noticed a couple of times you put on your brakes, and I could see the brake lights, and that was really cool. And I noticed that you turned the turn signals on, and I didn't know where you were turning, but they worked, and I noticed that you were, I thought it meant that you're tired of riding in 97-degree heat and you're going home.
It is a little warm out here, and we are sweating.
It is. We apologize for looking sweaty, but they're awesome for that.
Yeah. I was playing with the buttons because I didn't really know what all that meant, so I was kind of playing around.
Turn signals are a game changer as well, because one of the things we'll do is we'll ride these, like we'll go to Key West and stay right outside of Key West and then ride our bikes into town. And when you're on the main road, if you can give a turn signal, it just makes it safer for you and the people that are going to run over you. The headlights are really bright. Yep. So, okay, so putting it into the truck and out of the truck. Maybe we should take this moment and explain why we have 2 folding bikes. And it goes back a long ways, doesn't it? We started out, but when I finally talked her into getting e-bikes, we purchased 2 folding rads.
Right.
And those puppies were heavy.
Right, we never folded them. We always just put them on the back of the bike rack. So.
Yeah, or in a trailer. Yeah. So they were really, really heavy. These are not the lightest that we can get.
But, I mean, they're manageable. I think.
They are. Yeah. If we take the battery off, you could both lift it up with 1 or 2 hands easily and put it in. I could do it by myself. I'm not sure you would feel comfortable.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to lift it by myself and get it up on the tailgate.
Yeah, and another thing we really worry about is something we both call fuss factor. So fuss factor is just this. If you have to fuss with something too much to get it out to use it, eventually at our age, we're going to say, forget that. It's too much fuss factor. We're not going to do it. So on a fuss factor of 1 to 5, with 1 being, screw it, we're not going to do it for sure, or 5 being, it's super easy, what do you think the fuss factor is for taking it with us and getting it out?
Well, I guess I have to compare it to, what we've done in the past, which is put it on the back of a bike rack.
Right.
And then, we put a cover on it and stuff. So to me, it's not a whole lot of different as far as the fuss factor of getting the bikes out and actually setting them up.
I agree. I don't think it's going to stand in the way of us taking them. In fact, we brought the truck this time, but as we were driving over, Lynn I could tell what she was doing. She was thinking through this whole thing. And when we're home, a lot of trips like this, we'll go in our Subaru. And the question she asked is, if I put the seats down, will these fit in the Subaru? And the answer is yes. They'll fit perfectly in the Subaru, and we can take them with us, and we do not even have to have a bike rack.
Let me just answer your question, because I didn't really answer.
Oh yeah, 1 to 5.
1 to 5. So with the fuss factor, if you're comparing it to what we used to do was a 1.
Yep.
That's only what we know. I think it's about the same. So I think it's a 1.
The worst it can get?
No.
5 is the best you can get.
To me, the 5 means more fussier. 1's less fussier. But hey, whatever you think.
so you don't. Okay, so whatever that number is.
Whatever.
So really, what you're saying is it's about a small amount of fuss factor as you think we'll be able to get and still be able to take bikes.
Yeah, I mean, you could get something that's a lot
lighter,
but that's about it.
I would say 4 out of 5. So it's not absolutely perfect. We could get carbon fibers that weigh 29 pounds. That probably would be a fuss factor of a 5. but then the riding has to be taken into consideration.
Right.
And
How's it
how does it
riding?
ride and how does it feel and how much battery do you have? We've gone 5 miles and the battery hasn't gone down at all. I think we typically don't do more than 15 to 20 miles in a day. I think we could do 2 or 3 of those and not even have to charge it in between. So it's not going to be that big a deal for there. I will say that it feels just like a smaller version of my Velotric that I already have.
Yeah.
You expect quality from a bike like this or an Aventon or something or a Trek, and that quality is there. You expect it to be responsive and have a lot of technology, and all that technology is there. And you know how I love technology.
I know.
And it's light enough to put it in something like a bin like that and put it up in the back of our pickup truck, which solves that issue for us. The biggest reason we have to do that is when we put these on the back of our base camp, that base camp becomes really squirrely because there's too much weight behind the wheels and I don't have enough weight to add to the front of the axle. So it's always a white knuckle experience towing.
And it's not just the bike weight.
Yeah.
You know, you got the
hitch and all that.
The hitch and the bike rack and all that stuff. So it just all adds up.
Yeah. So from this point so far, a thumbs up on something you think we should recommend.
Right. I think
so
we need
far.
to get back on the bikes. It is a thumbs up, and I think we need to get back on the bikes.
I know it's hot as a mother.
Hot.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take these with us on our shakedown trip, and we will come back in the real world and give you guys a real world update as to how they're working in a situation where you're exploring the United States or Canada with folding e-bikes, and we'll let you know that. But for now, I think you're right. It is hot as 2 wolves in a wool sock out here.
2 wolves in a...
It's hot as 2 rats in a wool sock out here. That's what I'm supposed to say.
2 wolves in a wool sock.
It is. Let's get out of here.
All right.
A few more things that we were going to list. Because of being able to put them in the truck, everything's going to tow better. That step through, I've never had a bike that's lower. It's really easy to do the step through on it. I think I need to let Lynn answer this one. Do they take up more room than you thought they were going to?
Oh, in the truck, they do. I'll be honest with you. In our truck's a small bed, so it does take up a lot more room than I thought. And, you know, it's going to be a little challenging to get everything that we take camping in the back of the truck. Right. So that'll be, you know, to be determined. But
the reason we want to do that is pretty simple. If we can put them in the back of the pickup truck, they stay out of the weather. So years from now, they're going to look better than any e-bike we've ever owned. And they stay away from prying eyes. So they're locked away, they're safe, and they stay protected. I think the only other thing to say is this. Thank you, Velotric, for believing in our channel and sending these to us to take with us on trips like the one we have coming up. We really appreciate you making a really quality product and being part of our channel and something we can recommend. And as far as recommending it, in the description below, we'll put a link where you can do your own research and you can purchase it, as well as any other discounts that they provide you, the viewers of our channel. And we really appreciate you guys being part of our journey, and we appreciate Velotric being part of the journey as well. For now, let's ride on.
Right on.
Right on.